No political power spent. Someone else should bear the crown of Poland. Let's take a look at this. Goodbye and welcome to the epic bear. Wojtek, he who bears the throne. And so boys, we did it. It is August 1941. We got the epic bear. The Soviet Union is our core, but not only that, Yugoslavia is our core, Bulgaria is our core, Czechoslovakia is our core. We did ugly, very ugly things to Germany and to France, but this means we have the perfect setup for the Allies. Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In the latest poll you asked for a newer and better Poland guide. And that's exactly what I have for you today. Poland is an incredibly powerful country, especially with the secret Romanov path. It allows you to core all Slavic countries, including the Soviet Union. But today we're doing more than that, as I will show you the perfect strategy to get the OP bear, Wojtek, in charge of our country. If that sounds interesting, you're in the right place. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, but don't forget to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. And as always guys, if you enjoy the content I make, liking, subscribing and leaving a comment really helps, and it's free. That said, let's get started. As usual, all research and focus priorities are in the description of the video, so they will not be covered in the edited version, and the dedicated spreadsheet covering all steps in detail is available to Tier 2 members in our shared folder. In terms of buildings, we are going for a land warfare facility and then infrastructures followed by military factories in Katowice. And then we are going to create an agency right away. True. Before we set up the military production, we're going to upgrade. Before we set up our production priority, we're going to add MIOs to the various designs. I don't know why this is not done by default, but they are much better with MIOs. So. Once that's done, this is our military production priority. When we get dockyards, we will start making convoys and convoys only. Now we're going to let me rename them. Sorry. I was not ready. Always forget. Sorry if you're watching the edited version, the unedited version. You need to check the members of the channel once again. Not that I can complain about that. Right, so While CEO, you will get our infantry for today, an important template, you will see it later. By the way, in case you don't know, we are By the way, in case you don't know, I rename templates after tier 4 members of the channel to give something back for the amazing support. We're not going to use Mountaineers, we are not going to use Discovery, although for now we're going to set it as the territory management template, and we're going to no garrison. This is very important, don't miss this step. Then we're going to recruit 13 Inf, wild CEO. And we're going to set the entire army, you can split them into groups, it doesn't matter much, on a full back line from Poznan to Warsaw, like this. This will be important later on, for now you don't need to worry about it. We're also going to train them, give them the motorization priority. Oh, throughout the run, it doesn't matter much which generals you use, but I particularly like this guy. He starts with good traits and he's low level, so he can become pretty powerful. I'm also going to train the Navy all the way up to regular and our planes all the way up to regular. And that's the setup done. Now, I would recommend making several backup saves throughout the run. I will explain why, but there is a bit of RNG involved in this run. We have an answer to almost everything, but keep in mind that RNG is a factor. I will mention it when it is particularly relevant. In terms of trade, we will adjust it, but we will ignore... Let me do that again, sorry. In terms of trade, we will ignore deficits of 1 or 2. Other than that, we'll keep it under control. Our first goal at 150 political power is to pick the noble bureaucrat. Now you will start getting candidates for the throne. We want to refuse the first 8 and pick the 9th, which is going to be Anastasia. The next thing that is going to today it's a struggle. The next thing that is going to happen is a revolt in Danzig. That's why we set our garrison to no garrison. and we need to take it as soon as possible. For that to happen, we want their divisions to advance, because if they have even just one in Danzig, it can slow you down significantly. And if it takes too long, there's also a bit of RNG involved, Germany will join Danzig, and that's the end of your run. So I would maybe recommend making a save now, just in case you mess it up, you can try it again. Luckily, this is very early in the run, so restarting is not that much of a big deal. Alright, so the strategy here is quite simple. First, we're going to pick all of the possible traits, although we're not actually going to fight. We can assign planes too, just in case. Then we're going to cancel the fallback line. Just keep the divisions like these. And keep an eye on Danzig. You will see their divisions moving out from Danzig. And the goal is to rush Danzig when they don't have divisions in the area anymore. There will be one left there. And we want this guy to move away from there. There we go. We can actually start going with these people already. They only have 3 divisions. Okay, now we can go with these ones. You can ignore completely these two. It's not done yet though, because they have one more division that can be annoying. And that is the one in Danzig itself. Okay, it moved away, so that's perfect. So we want to rush Danzig. We want to make sure that this guy doesn't go there. So it's okay to attack him, but don't make him retreat. It looks like everything is going smoothly here. Now, sometimes this guy moves here, sometimes he moves here. You don't want him to be in Danzig. And if he is, you can try rushing him, but it takes longer, so it's a bit riskier. Either way, that's done. Easy. Now, very important, we want to puppet Danzig, because if you puppet it, Germany will never be able to demand it, and they will never attack you. So we solve one of the biggest problems of Poland, just like that. The thing is, you don't want to puppet as the free city of Danzig, otherwise they will not have cores on their own land. So you always need to puppet it as Kashubia. You can take war reparations, they don't have resources. And we can be very happy with how the run started. Now we can change back our occupation law to local police force, and we're going to change all of our divisions to the infantry template. Test. Okay. Okay. By the way, guys, if it takes too long to take Danzig and you miss time for the focus, you have about 10 days, then you need to pick this one, and for this you need to own Danzig. You need to restart because you don't want to delay the run too much, and by that time usually Germany joins them anyway, so it's the end of the run. Now at 100 political power we are going to pick the army defense expert, start getting some army experience. And then at 20 army experience, we are going for political loyalty. At 150 political power, we go for the autocratic archbishop. The anti-Comintern pack doesn't matter much, but I usually join. At 150 political power, we are going to switch to partial mobilization, and we're going to set up our army for Lithuania. Now, Lithuania usually accepts. In the vast majority of runs, they accept. But there are some times in which they refuse the peaceful annexation. In that case, you need to take them down as fast as possible. So I usually go for a martial line, offensive line, make sure to assign the planes. You can also send the navy there. And then just rush them down quickly. We'll talk about that in a second when we get to the actual focus. In terms of military factories, from now on, you want to prioritize building in the best available provinces, so we'll not mention it anymore. Just keep in mind that we're about to complete another concentrated industry, so you can build a couple more in here before you move on to the 60% provinces. Now we're waiting for the event that will give us Anastasia. There we go. So we pick our king will be the last Romanov. And at this time, we're also going to pick the scientist.
Strategist! Baczność! Gotów, dowódco! Baczność!
Next, we're going to pick the staunch aristocrat. And at this time, I would also recommend you stop training, as we need to get ready for Lithuania in case they refuse. Let's see what happens. Take a few days for them to answer. And they accept. This is by far the most common outcome. And as I mentioned earlier, if they refuse, you get a claim on them, you attack them right away, you do not pick a focus, so you delay by usually like 15 to 20 days the next focus, and you just rush the victory points quickly. It's very easy. By the way, in case they refuse, the only thing that you need to change is, since you're not going to get their divisions, their 9 divisions, you would start training another 10 infantry divisions that you need later on for additional focuses. And then you would deploy them as soon as possible. Other than that, the strategy is exactly the same. Now, we want to core it, but to reform the Commonwealth we need compliance to be above 80%. Well, except there is a little trick for that, which is simply to release Lithuania as a puppet. So we're going to do that, and then you can pick this focus, which will re-annex them and give us scores. Now we also want to give a look at the various templates here. Sometimes they have a cavalry template like this one. If they do, we're going to use it as our cav for garrisons. If they don't, I would recommend creating a cav with just one cavalry, which is slightly more optimal for garrison management. We don't need their other templates, so we can decommission them. We can also decommission this one, and we can change all of the new divisions into infantry. Can merge them into the 3rd army. I'm also going to force deploy the remaining ones, and that's it. We can keep training them. So now we're actually going to make some changes to our infantry. We're going to add the engineer company, the support anti-air, and the support artillery. I'm going to save it. And we're going to set them up for the next potential war, which is against Czechoslovakia. Now, in my test runs, Czechoslovakia always accepted. I couldn't get even one test run in which they refused. I remember they used to be able to refuse. I don't know if that's still the case. But just in case, we'll set up our divisions at the border with Czechoslovakia, ready to push into them if they don't make the right choice. I do feel like this would be the most challenging outcome. Czechoslovakia is probably, out of these initial countries, the hardest one to take down if they refuse. So I would prefer them to accept. But again, if you have a test run in which they refuse, if you have a run in which they refuse and you want to send me the save, I'll take a look, see if I can help. Another thing I will not be mentioning is what to do with doctrines. So we're going for the SPG build, which means our priority is Grand Assault, followed by Assault Infantry, then self-propelled support. Then I usually pick Logistical Focus, and finally Streamline Deployment. You do that as you get army experience, so we don't need to mention it. No, this gets bugged. Of course. How long before we get it? There we go. Lithuania back under control. Don't build in Memel since we will lose it to Germany. Now at 110 political power, we're going to start improving relations with Japan. Then we're going to send them an attaché. And then we are immediately stopping the relations to preserve manpower, to preserve political power.
Strategist!
And as I was mentioning, the Czech Republic accepts always. But I'm sure, it's always like this in my guides, I'm sure that somebody will manage to get them to refuse, so send me your save. Now we're going to set up for the next series of wars, which will be against potentially Hungary, Yugoslavia and Romania all at the same time, and also Latvia and Estonia. But it might be that Yugoslavia accepts, so we'll talk about it in a bit. So we send one army north at the border with Latvia. This army will be pushing Latvia and Estonia. Then we send one army at the border with Hungary to push Hungary and Yugoslavia. And then we set up a full-back line with a smaller army from here to the border with the Soviet Union. This area has very low supplies, so I prefer to defend here to protect against Romania. I can keep training. And we need to adjust trade. Don't forget. As soon as we complete this focus, we're going to start a justification on Hungary. And we're going to design our new tanks. Of course, until they nerf them, we're going to use SPGs for this. So this is the design we're going for. When they nerf SPGs, you can just switch to regular tanks. Going to save it, and we're going to start producing it. All future military factories, and we reduce the production of artillery to... I forgot how many factories. The 3 factories. And we decrease the production of artillery to only 3 factories. Now we're going to make some changes to our army. We're going to make some changes to the army. We're going to duplicate our infantry, and we're going to create our offs. Vegeta will get them. So for our off, other than giving them a cooler icon, the goal is to use the SPGs. So we're going to replace 1 infantry battalion with 1 SPG battalion to keep the combat width at 18, but give them some armor and soft attack. We're also going to make them elite. We're going to save this new design. It might be a little bit later if you have less army experience, don't worry, but don't forget. Let's save it. And then we're going to change... And then we're actually going to change 10 divisions to this new design. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And then we're actually going to change 10 infantry divisions to the new offs. For now, they don't have the equipment, but they will get it. I would change the ones at the border with Hungary, because this is the front that will suffer the most. Let's make sure that they are training, and we can continue. Now, at 150 political power, we really need limited conscription, so we're going to switch.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
And then let's see what Yugoslavia does. I have a couple of saves, one in which they accept, one in which they refuse, so I can show you the 2 outcomes. I would prefer them to refuse, as that's a bit more challenging, so it would be better for the run, but I will explain both. Perfect. Okay, I'm very happy that they refused, so I can show you the more challenging outcome. But let me explain then the easier one. So what happens if Yugoslavia accepts? Well, simply you take them peacefully. So all of Yugoslavia will become our land. The main consequence of this is that when we attack Hungary... Well, that's the same actually. The main consequence of this is... No, let me do that again. So the first part will not change. No, actually it does change. Okay, sorry. Wait a second. Let me think about the best way to explain it. So with the next focus, we're going to get claims on Estonia and Latvia. And then the idea is that we're going to declare war on Hungary, Yugoslavia, Latvia and Estonia all at the same time to avoid guarantees or foreign intervention. Now, if Yugoslavia refuses, when you declare war on Yugoslavia, Romania also joins. So you get to invade Romania as well. If Yugoslavia accepts, that's not an option, so Romania will stay out of the war. However, the higher priority is that during these wars we are going to pick war economy and extensive conscription, and we can only pick them if the enemy is more powerful than us. No. And we can only pick them if the enemy is at least 50% as powerful. No, sorry. But we can only pick these two if the enemy is powerful enough. And when it's all of them together, that's easy. But when Yugoslavia accepts, that's not the case. So what you're going to do is, when you attack Hungary, you wait, you do not push in the north at all, and you let Hungary take all of Yugoslavia. Once Hungary takes all of Yugoslavia from you, then you will be able to pick both war economy and extensive conscription. After that's done, you quickly rush down Latvia, Estonia and Hungary, and you finish the war in the Balkans. When Yugoslavia refuses, you don't need to wait, but you also need to take down Yugoslavia and Romania, which can be tricky. So let's see how that goes.
Gotów, dowódco!
Okay, so we got our claim on Hungary. It is time to start our wars in the Balkans. It's a bit sad that these units are not fully trained, but that's okay. Now, since we have a spy, we're going to use the spy in Romania. Romania can be the trickiest one to take down, so it will help to have some network. And then we're going to declare war on Hungary, Yugoslavia, Latvia, and Estonia, all at the same time without unpausing the game. Then we're going to pick right away war economy, and as soon as possible, definitely before ending the wars, we want to go for extensive conscription. So we're not particularly in a hurry because we need to take this. And for that reason, what I usually like to do is push north first, while this army simply chills on the border with Hungary. These guys will be under a bit of pressure from Romania, but that's okay. Let's go. Oh, a nice last stand. It's a good way to start. Always a good way to start. Make sure to assign the few planes you have up here. They're actually very useful because the enemies don't have planes. Not sure why these guys thought it's a good idea to stay here, but... we're doing nothing here. That's awesome. It's amazing how idiotic the AI is.
Ruszać się! Ruszamy się! Gotów, dowódco! Baczność! Baczność! Odmarszyrować! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
That should be Latvia. We're going to annex Latvia, as that's actually our core, and take their navy.
Baczność!
Now we can quickly rush down Estonia as well.
Pod ostrzałem!
Can switch onto a regular front line here. As I mentioned, we will be under a lot of pressure until we send down the second army.
Gotów, dowódco! Naprzód! Gotów! Odmaszerować! Ruchy! Uwaga! Dowódco, wycofują się! Tak jest! Baczność!
Looking good. We're going to puppet Estonia with resource rights and war reparations. Okay, now we can focus on the south. So now we send down the second army as well. It's perfectly on time because here we are starting to be under a bit too much pressure. It's going to be entirely fixed by this army. We are going to send all of the planes down. We assign them to the second army now. And we can already start a push on Hungary as we take care of this situation here. And just make sure that these guys use trains. Yeah, that's good. And actually, if Romania advances a bit like in this case, in the end that's going to be a disadvantage for them. Because they will struggle to hold this land and they will struggle to defend their mainland.
Baczność!
I lost stand, of course.
Gotów, dowódco! Ruszać się! Gotów, dowódco! Tak jest! Szeregu, zbiórka! Tak jest! Odwrót!
Yeah, we took Budapest, that's very nice.
Uwaga! Odmaszerować!
Need to try and focus a bit more this army on the Hungarian side.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów do wymaszerowania! Co? Wycofują się! Ruchy, ruchy, ruchy!
Another last stand. Oh my god, Hungary. Oh my god.
Gotów!
Yeah, let's see if we can get something done here. It looks like we can.
Naprzód!
Okay, this will make it a bit easier later on against Romania. I will not complain. Or maybe Hungary, if you stop,
Gotów!
if you stop last standing, we can proceed.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
So we need to be perfectly positioned by the time
Gotów!
Hungary falls, because rushing into Yugoslavia faster is an absolute priority.
Szeregu! Zbiórka! Odmaszerować!
Fine.
Dowódco, wycofują się! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Uwaga! Tak jest!
Especially when you reach the border like here, you want to try and rush Belgrado as fast as possible. Very, very important. Hungary will go down soon. There we go. We're going to puppet them with resource rights and war reparations.
Gotów, dowódco!
But now we need to be faster with Yugoslavia.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Tak jest! Baczność! Baczność! Baczność!
Yeah, we're not in the best position here, but if we can cross the river, we'll be fine.
Uwaga! Baczność!
Okay, we crossed at least in one place. Okay, we crossed here too, that's good.
Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów, dowódco!
Where is the supply hub here? Okay, there is no supply hub there. Wait.
Jakieś rozkazy?
No need to push that.
Baczność! Tak jest! Baczność! Gotów do wymaszerowania! Baczność! Gotów, dowódco! Gotów! Baczność!
Apparently the AI loves last standing in this particular run. They absolutely love it. We still need to be careful though, because we want to pick extensive conscription, so we don't want to cap them too fast. So let's say this one time I will not be too mad about this last stand.
Gotów,
And also we don't want to push into Romania, so if you see your divisions do that,
Gotów do
try to
wymaszerowania!
reassign them and avoid pushing into Romania. It's much better to do it later.
Gotów, dowódco! Uwaga! Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem!
Not here.
Tak jest!
Here's...
Uwaga!
Another last stand, unbelievable.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Okay, now we can pick extensive conscription from this moment onward. Actually, we want to finish the war a bit faster, so now I am a bit annoyed by this last stand.
Ruszać się! Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem! Tak jest! Szeregu, zbiórka! Biegiem, biegiem, biegiem! Ruszać się! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Now we're getting to the victory points. Try not to reach the border with Romania if possible, so Romania will not send too many divisions there, which is beneficial for us.
Uwaga! Uwaga!
Yugoslavia should be
Tak jest!
fairly close to going down.
Tak jest! Gotów, dowódco! Gotów! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Ruszamy się! Tak jest! Łączność!
Okay, so this is the claim on Germany because they didn't give us Pomerania. This is the most common outcome, but sometimes they accept, which is pretty fun because you get all of this land and all of this land for free. So it's worth the focus and it's also needed for the next ones. Now we're starting to be a little bit late here, so I would like to end this fast ideally. Yugoslavia is not going down that easily.
Gotów! Szeregu! Zbiórka! Gotów, dowódco!
This is also a bit risky.
Trzymać odległość! Ruszać się! Gotów, dowódco! Ruszać się! Gotów, dowódco!
Okay, there we go. Yugoslavia finally down. So Yugoslavia can be core at some point of the run. No, let me do that again. With Yugoslavia, you have a couple of options. You can annex this part of Yugoslavia, Dalmatia, Ljubljana, and North Slovenia, and puppet the rest, but you can core this land at some point. So what I usually do is just annex them, also for consistency, because this is what would happen if they accepted annexation. So it's a bit better in terms of the guide. Later on, we will lose this land when we declare war on the Axis. We'll let Italy and Germany advance into here, but that doesn't matter. They actually waste a lot of divisions in here, and they will still not have a border with us. So I prefer this path, but if you want to puppet them, go on and do it. Now, though, we need to still take down Romania, which can be annoying, as always. So ideally, for Romania, you want to rush them from this area, because most of their divisions are up in the north. So here we got a really good chance at pushing them. We also got some new planes that we can assign. They can help. So first of all, we need these divisions to rush this area, and the ones that are already here, you want to try and abuse gaps. You see the Romanians are now responding to this, and since they are doing that, we're actually going to push the entire front to keep as many of their divisions stuck in the north as possible, while we try to abuse these gaps in the south. Yeah, they lost stand, but this is the key moment of this offensive. Try and get some space in here and then rush Bucharest. Then they will start being too spread around and they will quickly lose control of their land. Awesome. And this worked quite well in the end. Romania is powerful, they should not be underestimated, but when they are attacked from all sides, they lost. They cannot survive. And can we do it by the end of the year? Probably not, because we need Cluj. Ah, well. Technically we did do it by the end of the year. Though it will take them exactly on the 1st of January. Oh no, maybe it was the 31st. Okay, that's perfect though. We got Romania as well. Now for Romania, you can do whatever you want. Keep in mind that the Soviet Union will demand Bessarabia and Romania will give it to them, but we don't care too much about that. So I would recommend either Balkanizing them or puppeting them as Romania. Other than that, I usually prefer to Balkanize, but it doesn't matter much. We take war reparations. Resource rights. And the navy. And look at us, doing quite well already. So now we need to get ready for the bigger challenge, which is very big. The Soviet Union. We're going to make some changes in a little bit. In the meantime, we can move back north. And at 100 political power, we're going to pick the infantry expert and we're going to make some changes to our divisions and setup. Now, first of all, we want 3 full army. First of all, we want 3 full armies of infantry. So we're going to recruit the required amount of infantry divisions for that. In our case, it's 10. Then we're going to duplicate our infantry template and we're going to create def. Andrew, you will get our def for the day. Now this is going to be a little bit expensive, but it's still the best way to do it. We want to remove the rangers and we want to reduce the combat width to 12. So we're going to save these and we are going to recruit 48 of them. Oh yeah, something very important that I was not doing is we want them all to be on no location set. Don't miss this step, it's actually important. So no location set for inf and def. Then we're going to build infrastructures at the border with the Soviet Union, the entire border. This will help, it's not mandatory, but it will help with supplies. And what will help even more with supplies is we select every single supply hub on the border and we upgrade the railways to those supply hubs. It doesn't have to be the priority, but make sure it's up there. And then finally we can also build military factories along the entire border, since by the time they are built it will be max infra. Test? Yeah. Then we're also going to design and start producing the flame tank. Nothing too fancy, just a very basic design. We're going to assign 3 military factories to flame tanks. We're going to take them from the SPGs. Finally, we're going to start upgrading the agency. We want a total of 5 upgrades. I usually go for this one and these ones. And we're going to start spying on the Soviet Union wherever you want, but away from big cities. I usually spy them in here. And we can continue. And also, guys, this is when I fix trade entirely, so I don't forget about it.
Strategist!
And also assign some trades in here. Oh, we begin. And so it begins. So you already know the trick. When you get the demands to remove the attaché, you just go to the country that demanded it and you do cancel market access, negotiate market access, and you keep doing it until it's free. Like this. Okay, next we want to pick this focus, but we cannot because we don't have enough deployed manpower. It's very important that you only deploy the manpower you need to pick the focus. So check how much you lack. It's about 60,000 manpower. And then we are going to do something like this. We're going to set the location for these divisions. We're just going to force deploy as many as we need for the focus. And that's it. And then back to no location set. So now we can pick the focus. Then I will explain why all of these no location set thing. Now at this point we can also pick the military theorist, and we're going to make some additional changes. Now, first of all, we want to bring our offensive template to a total combat width of 24. It's going to be 10-2. We're going to add the logistics company, and we're going to add the medium flame tank company. We can save these. And then we're going to change 2 full armies to offs. So this army and these armies should be entirely made of offs. Mind that our next goal is to pick logistical focus before the... No, I already said that. Okay, let's go.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Baczność!
When Germany demands Memel, we're just going to give it. And that solves the problem with Germany, basically. From now on, we don't need to worry about Germany anymore. And now let me show you exactly why we did not deploy our divisions. So the moment we complete this focus, we create a faction, which is awesome. However, we want to set a short-term goal that will give us a faction point right away, and we have one. And we have one that requires us to have a certain amount of divisions. So we're going to select this one, going to accept, and only now we're going to deploy all of the divisions we have been waiting to deploy. And by doing that, we get our faction point right away. By having a faction point, right away, we're going to become the spy master of the faction, pick the elusive gentleman, and get an extra spy. This extra spy will allow us to get collaboration governments on cooldown in the Soviet Union without having to worry. Later on, we're also going to use we're going to use additional faction points to unlock all of these stuff and get even more spies, so that we always have the intel advantage in the Soviet Union, which is awesome. By the way, as soon as you get the spies, start collaboration governments on cooldown in the Soviet Union. Now, the other reason why we created a faction is that we want... The other reason why we created a faction is that we want to join the war against the Soviet Union when they attack Finland. And for that it's better to have a faction so that Finland will join our faction instead of joining the Allies. We don't really want the Allies to be involved. Now, for that we need to guarantee the independence of Finland. There are a couple of ways you can do that. One, very easy one, is to start a justification on the Soviet Union, a retake core state, wait until the war tension goes above 40%, guarantee Finland, and cancel the justification. Usually that's not needed because usually Germany starts the war on the Benelux and France before that's required and gives you before that happens and gives you the required war tension. If you want to be safe, I would say that doing the justification thing, it's maybe a little bit safer. So maybe in this run, just for consistency, we're going to do it so we don't risk anything. So we start the justification on the Soviet Union. As you can see, the war tension goes up very quickly in this way. And then we can simply guarantee the independence of Finland. And we can cancel our justification on the Soviet Union, which we don't need because we already have one. Now it's also time to set up our divisions a little bit better. So we're going to create a second marshal with the defensive ones and the infantry. For now we can train everybody. And but these guys will mostly be these guys will mostly be assigned on a martial line covering the entire front with the Soviet Union, while the other two armies carry on the main offensives. But now we can train them, so we do the setup a little bit later. At 150 political power, we're going to pick the electronics concern. Will help a bit with coal. I will not be mentioning much what we do in terms of naval and air doctrines, but branch independent spirit is a good first pick. Then later on you can switch to something else. This one is a good other option. And then always centralized control. For the Navy, I am going to do trade interdiction into selective engagement. Then we're going to pick defensive ones. But it doesn't matter much because this is not a Navy-oriented run. We're going to pick the logistical focus. Now, if you have subjects that you can integrate, that is convenient, so you can use the political power for that. The priorities from now on are not that strict.
Gotów! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Now we're going to do our setup.
Baczność!
Alright, so now we're going to do our setup for the Soviet Union, so we are ready when the time comes. So we're going to assign these guys on a shift martial line, so just one line spread evenly across the entire front, and we can give them an offensive line, but they're not actually going to push. What's going to push is the army north, so we're going to create an offensive plan from here. The goal is to reach Leningrad, and possibly these other important victory points. And then with our best general, which should be this guy, although he didn't level up very well, we're going to plan an offensive south. Here the goal is mostly to reach Kiev and Vinnytsia, and then if possible get one or two encirclements in here, and then one big one in here. Then they will keep pushing south, they will try to reach Sevastopol, Rostov, and eventually Stalingrad, if needed Baku, but hopefully that will not be needed. While the army north, after taking Leningrad, will change their direction of attack onto Moscow. Let's make sure everybody is trained, and also let's make sure that everybody has the highest motorization priority, especially the good army. The other one is not as important. But I'm going to do it anyway. Of course, our planes will not last long against the Soviet Union, but whatever we have, we should use. Oh, and by the way, very important, don't forget about these. You also want to request forces from your puppets. Create another army with them, and you want to set these guys on area defense in here, because the Soviet Union does attempt some naval invasions, so you want to guard these coastline. You don't need many divisions to do it, so the puppets are enough. You don't want to forget, otherwise you will need to deal with a Soviet invasion in your back.
Baczność! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Going to pick the ground support expert, mostly for later.
Uwaga! Uwaga! Gotów, dowódco!
Hungary being very generous here.
Uwaga! Gotów!
Yeah, we're doing pretty good in terms of training. Still need some railways to be built though. We have a couple of months because the Soviet Union will attack Finland in December. And as I was mentioning, usually Germany attacks the Benelux earlier, so you don't have to justify on the Soviet Union, you could guarantee Finland now, but it's a little bit safer to get a guarantee with the justification just in case Germany messes up, which they love to do.
Baczność!
We're almost there. The Soviet Union should attack around the 13th of December. Yeah, no more France. We need somebody else to buy from. Probably not the Soviet Union, since that would not last very long. And by the way, we can pick the last doctrine. So, full doctrines ready for the Soviet Union. You also get another spy. At this point, in terms of equipment, we should be doing pretty well. You probably will have a deficit in terms of SPGs, hopefully not too big. It should be solved as the war progresses. Okay, there we go. So the Soviet Union attacks Finland. Now let's make a save. Test. Alright, so time for some real action here. So first of all, we're going to join Finland right away, and we're going to invite them to our faction right away. This way they don't join the allies don't get involved. It's overall much better. Then let's check the situation here. We still have a deficit of 700 SPGs, so we may want to wait for a little bit, but we don't want to wait for too long against the Soviet Union. Let's also slow down the speed a little bit, and the other thing we can do right away is we can pick war bonds. You can also pick domestic film industry, although as you can see we don't really have issues with war support and stability. Oh, they decrypted us right away, that's not ideal. But it doesn't matter. Actually, I think we will start pushing in the south. Now, against the Soviet Union, guys, I will maybe not go into the micro too much. You can check the unedited version if you're interested. Remember that you only have one priority, and the priority is always to aim at these supply hubs and make sure there is a railway connection. If you do that, it will be fine. You don't have to worry. The Soviet Union is actually not as strong. We can use, by the way, we can use faction points to get more spies so that we have an intel network everywhere. That's going to help. Yeah, this is how it happens. This is how everything happens. They break one point and then the front line gets messed up. They don't cover it anymore. It happens so often, this thing, guys, so often. But I don't hate it. If they do proceed in here, they will get into an encirclement, so let's start both offensives now. We have very good divisions, and things will get even better once the deficit in SPGs is solved. Come on, Sweden, stop not trading with me. What's your problem?
Gotów, dowódco! Gotów!
Okay, this is very nice. So as you can see, we took the supply hub in here. Now we still need the railway connection, otherwise it's not going to work. But all of these divisions are already out of supplies because they are very far from their closest supply hub. So that's how it works.
Ruchy!
Now we need to try and get some railway connection.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów do
And why not
wymaszerowania!
close this? That's perfect. Awesome.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
That's a very lovely encirclement we got here. We still need to close it on this side. That should be no problem.
Baczność! Gotów!
Best. So now I also want to get a non-aggression pact with Japan. It's going to be helpful much later, but at some point they will have some negative modifiers. So I think it would be a good time to improve relations with them. And as soon as we get the next spy, maybe do some diplomatic pressure so we get a non-aggression pact with Japan.
Szeregu, zbiórka!
Awesome.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Okay, and rearrange these guys a little bit. We also got Kiev already, and we can start the next push. The goal is to get ideally another encirclement in the area of Odessa.
Gotów!
But we need to make sure that these guys keep protecting the entire front. That's quite important. And here I would not hate getting to Minsk, I'm not going to lie. So we're going to try and do that.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Wait, okay.
Szeregu, zbiórka! Baczność! Gotów!
I'd say we can definitely push here. And once again, we want to micro a little bit, try to get to the supply hubs. And ideally, I don't want to push here right away because I want to encircle this place. So I'll try to micro these divisions away from pushing there. They push there anyway. And Paradox broke Spearhead, so we cannot use that, which is all absolutely awesome.
Dowódco!
Now in here, you can see the front is messed up. It's time to adjust it. The priority is to reach Leningrad, so we're going to change the front line a little bit and push this area first. Now this is the hardest part to push, especially we need this supply hub. Without this supply hub here, you're completely out of supplies. You can see why. There are no supply hubs in the area. So you need to rush this one. You usually cannot take Leningrad without this supply hub. If needed, build railways there, but you need that hub. Can we please stop pushing here, please?
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów, dowódco!
And this part is awesome because even if we lose a battle, we can retreat to our Bessarabia and the Soviet Union can actually not push us there.
Gotów! Baczność!
Now we can pick our domestic film industry. Not that we need it.
Gotów, dowódco! Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów! Baczność!
In terms of doctrines, now that we are done with these ones, I would recommend going for Tip of the Spear, and then you can pick the Special Forces doctrines for Mountaineers, so we can use them later on partially in our template.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Baczność! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów!
Now this stuff is going very well, exactly as planned. Now let's see if we can get quickly to Odessa before they retreat.
Ruszamy się!
Because of course they will attempt to retreat. And they love pushing there. Nothing I can do about it.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
To push, I need you guys to push Odessa. Come on, don't let them retreat. Now we should be able to get our non-aggression pact with Japan. That's perfect. So we can use the spy in the Soviet Union too. Definitely can use some planning in the area of Moscow, in this area, to get to Stalingrad. It's all beneficial.
Szeregu, zbiórka!
Guys, can you please not let... For fuck's sake. Fuck you.
Gotów, dowódco!
Nice. Not nice. The fuck is it?
Gotów, dowódco!
I will also assign a couple of factories to repairs, so we repair all of the railways and so on. And here we need to keep an eye on these because we need to rush this victory. We need to rush this supply hub, as I was mentioning. It's an absolute priority. We need to reassign this front because it got messed up.
Baczność!
Now, for this army here in the south, when we get to Crimea, it gets a bit tricky because the front line here gets messed up, and you usually need to send an additional group of puppet divisions to cover that front. But I think we have an option here to get an encirclement, so I think we're going for that first. We are going to delay our push to Stalingrad for a little bit. Before we do that, I would like to get to the river, though. Let's see if we can do that, then we move on.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
And here the struggle is about to begin.
Szeregu, zbiórka!
this side is perfect.
Baczność!
But up in the north, we need all of them to focus on this area or we are never going to push.
Gotów, dowódco! Tak jest! Tak jest!
Let's try to at least take Novgorod. There are no supply hubs there, but there are probably local supplies.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Tak jest!
Okay, here we can go.
Tak jest!
Give it another go.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Interestingly, Finland is actually advancing very well there.
Ruszać się! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów, dowódco!
Oh yeah, I actually forgot, but we had to make some slight changes to the production here. So we want to bring the production of trains and trucks to 2. I was supposed to do this at the beginning of the war, so we're a bit late, but it's going to be fine. Infantry Equip to 15, Support Equip to 8. And then anti-air, artillery, flame tanks, and also we add the armored support vehicles all to 5. We take everything from the SPGs. Okay, the game had second thoughts for a second about life and death.
Baczność!
Of course they are pushing in the wrong place. Of course. It's awesome. You see that the offensive line is here, they're pushing the south, but how can you not get frustrated when front lines are so broken? You not ask people to micro all the time. Microing is important, but now here is where our war is played. This is the key part of the war.
Odmaszerować!
Can we get there? Can we not get there?
Szeregu, zbiórka! Tak jest!
Yeah, not that easily for sure.
Tak jest! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Now they only have one. Come on.
Kontynuować natarcie! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
The reason we cannot push is the lack of supplies. The problem is there are no supplies to get here. It's all about this. Okay, that's gonna help a little bit. Not enough. Start this offensive. Oh, we got it. Finally. Finally. Now let's make sure it has a connection. Absolute priority to this stuff. No, we cannot lose it now. Okay, to stop this offensive temporarily. Rearrange a little bit. This was a very painful one. But it's okay because we are going to get Leningrad soon. Okay, we got the supplies. And the logistics.
Strategist! Uwaga!
We can easily take Leningrad. The problem is I want Leningrad. I don't want Finland to take it from us. So we will get that first.
Uwaga! Dowódco, wycofują się!
Okay, perfect. Now, let's keep an eye on the next focus that is going to be our priority, which is actually this one here. Because for it, you need the Soviet Union to be on its way to surrendering. And you also need to control one between Stalingrad and Vladivostok. Of course, it's going to be Stalingrad. But we already control Leningrad, so that's very good. We can also pick the remaining advisors at this point, like the naval maneuver expert. Oh, nice encirclement we got in here. It's not really full, but it's going to be nice anyway.
Jakieś rozkazy?
So now it's time to focus the North Army on the area of Moscow, which is going to be our next target, and especially because the South Army needs to go to Stalingrad as soon as possible.
Gotów, dowódco! Gotów, dowódco! Gotów, dowódco! Uwaga!
Now, in terms of casualties, I would say we're doing pretty well. We took a lot of casualties up there to push Leningrad, but it's worth it. That's the trickiest part.
Uwaga! Gotów, dowódco!
Ah, so freaking annoying.
Gotów, dowódco!
Alright, pockets closed. Oh, and we got a free one. Didn't even see this one. Nice. It's definitely time to aim for Stalingrad. So this second army now needs to move to the south fully. Stalingrad and then also Sevastopol. Although, as I was mentioning, that's always a little bit tricky. But let's do something like this. And the other army is in position, can start pushing towards Moscow.
Uwaga! Baczność!
Ah, that's very sad.
Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów! Baczność! Tak jest! Gotów, dowódco! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów, dowódco!
Oh, this is a naval invasion that I did not exactly expect in here. It's going to be a little bit annoying. So we need at this point to use half of this army to cover this part of the front. We would have done it anyway, but now we need it in particular. We're also going to have to send some of these guys to counter this naval invasion.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Uwaga!
Yeah. They're going to be a little bit annoying here.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Now, around this time, I usually try to time it more or less with the second collaboration government. It's 74 days. It's time to start a justification on Iran. So we're going to get it a bit after the collaboration government, and then hopefully we'll be done with the Soviet Union before this claim expires. So let's go with the claim on Iran.
Gotów! 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 Uwaga!
I don't know how they go to Crimea from here because you cannot see the front, but I think we encircled these guys.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Uwaga! Gotów, dowódco! Uwaga!
So now we need them to be here, cover the front with Crimea.
Baczność!
Well, that's a lot of divisions, that's actually pretty nice.
Baczność! Gotów, dowódco! Szeregu, zbiórka! Szeregu! Zbiórka!
No, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave.
Dowódco, wycofują się! Czerwać!
We may need a few more divisions there.
Gotów, dowódco!
But it's a higher priority to push Stalingrad, so we can pick the focus.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
I'm just going to send some divisions down here. Don't think the Soviet Union can invade us there anymore anyway.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Łączność!
Ooh, that's nice.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Okay. Ooh, nice, nice. We're getting very close.
Zbiórka!
Always a bit tricky to get to
Gotów, dowódco!
Stalingrad.
Pod ostrzałem! Gotów, dowódco!
No, no, what the fuck? You almost got it, you go away.
Uwaga!
Got it. Very nice. Look at this mess. Okay, so let's check the situation here. The Soviet Union is not close to capitulating yet, so we need to work a bit harder. But the good news is, after this focus, we can go straight away for Proclaim Slavic Unity, which is absolutely awesome, as this will give us cores on the entire Soviet Union, including the part we are already occupying. So it's extremely beneficial. Now, in terms of buildings, I would recommend building in puppets, so you can decrease their autonomy. Now here we need to fix this mess a bit though, because it's very ugly, very ugly. So very happy that we pushed Stalingrad, but now we need to fix this. And north, the situation is also very good. We don't necessarily want to push there because there are no victory points. So the best way to push now is here in the central part. Let's reassign a bit our divisions now. See though, maybe here we can get some encirclements or something like that. At least we can adjust a bit this mess of a front. Right, proclaim Slavic unity. It is. We're going to pick the air superiority expert. Actually here, we would like to push Crimea. I don't know if it's possible, but we can give it a try. If they don't have divisions. This is actually an important victory point. Let's be careful not to lose Stalingrad.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Can push here.
Tak jest! Gotów, dowódco! Kontynuować natarcie!
Oh, doing that.
Szeregu! Zbiórka!
Here in the south, the highest priority is Batumi, and then from here you can rush Baku, which should be enough to capitulate them after the second collab is done. Second collab that will be done... when? Where is it? Where is your capital? Here, in 40 days. That's our timeline at this point. But not in Sevastopol. Let me check one thing though. How come they are so... they have such good war support still? Whatever. We'll get there, we'll get there. There is a bit of RNG as to how much war support the Soviet Union has. Sometimes they go down a lot faster, sometimes they take a bit longer. And it looks like this is not going to be one of the fast ones, but we're going to make it work nonetheless. Now this army, we can probably use it to reinforce up here, because we're suffering up here.
Biegiem! Dowódco, wycofują się! Szeregu, zbiórka!
Surprisingly, we still have some planes. We even have some green air. That's quite impressive. But up here we definitely need more divisions, especially because these idiots abandon the front. Not surprising.
Gotów, dowódco! Szeregu, zbiórka! Baczność! Kontynuować!
This is another area with absolutely no supplies, at least until we get to Batumi. It's going to be a big struggle here.
Baczność!
There are some supplies on the other side of the river, but we need the railway.
Szeregu, zbiórka!
Guess we could use a theater. No.
Baczność! Gotów, dowódco! Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów!
Actually, nice. We should be able to get to the supply hub in there. And we're about to get to Batumi. Very important one. More than you may imagine. Now we can rush Baku.
Szeregu, zbiórka! Uwaga! Tak jest! Gotów! Tak jest! Baczność! Gotów, dowódco!
Going to do the best micro move ever.
Gotów, dowódco! Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów!
Now we're getting to the point where we would like to capitulate them fairly soon, but it's okay, it's not bad. It's not bad, and the collab is whatever days away, 7 days away, so hopefully this collab will do the trick. Now, I'm also going to start spying on Germany for the upcoming war, since we don't need the spies anymore. And I'll make a save, just in case. I would recommend making a save now, it's safer. Now, hopefully the collab will do it, and if not, Baku should do it. Please limit it to 1 for faction, please, Paradox, please. Okay, that's a collab. That's the Soviet Union going down. Perfect, boys. That's the goal. That's the ideal goal. So you capitulate the Soviet Union with the second collaboration government. When that happens, you did an awesome job. And it looks like we did an awesome job here. So, now, the only thing is, technically, if we finish the focus first, we get cores everywhere, so that's slightly more optimal because it's cheaper in the peace conference. Peace conference that is split with Finland, but Finland doesn't have enough to really take anything. So what I would recommend doing here is you just, well, let's make a save for the peace conference too, just in case. Always make saves for all peace conferences, guys. Just in case you mess them up, you don't want to do everything again. So you just annex the Soviet Union, then you click somewhere here, so you remove these provinces that you cannot claim. You start removing them from this side. Okay, make sure you take this one, submit, then if there is anything, contest it, then do the same thing again. Then you also want to annex Tanutuva, that's also a core of us, or better, it will be a core of us. We're going to annex that too. Don't want to give them anything to them. And then the Mongolian Republic, you can do whatever you want. You can puppet them. Give me that stuff, man. Awesome. So Finland didn't get anything, but they get to survive. They should be happy. We take the mighty Soviet Navy. We can confirm. We can be very happy because... no, fuck, almost missed it. Okay, which one is this? What did I want to say? Ah, yes. We did very good because there is no Bessarabia. So we prevented Bessarabia, which from being taken from the... Let me do that again. We made it so that the Soviet Union didn't even take Bessarabia. If you're a bit slower, they take Bessarabia. It's basically the same thing that happened with the naval invasion here. So you need to send some divisions because they will send some of theirs by sea. Okay, now let me explain something. This is quite important. It is only August 1940. And if right now we attacked the Axis, it would be fine. As you can see, the Axis is not guaranteed by Japan yet, and if the Axis is guaranteed by Japan, you can just claim Bulgaria, although I would recommend doing that after proclaim Slavic unity, because you get cores. So you can just do a retake core on Bulgaria, you attack the Axis, and you can take down Germany and Italy before the US joins the Allies, and then from Germany you can invade the UK, and that's, in my opinion, the most optimal path. So at this point, maybe I'll make a save just like to show you in future if we decide to do that. Wait, what was the name of the bear? Okay, it's correct. Okay, so let me explain very briefly here because it's actually quite important. So if you want the bear, for the bear you have several requirements. One of them is to control this province, Hamadan. So we need to invade Iran. That's why we're justifying on Iran. Then we need to be non-aligned. Then we need to have completed the focus artillery modernization, which we are going to get soon. It's the next priority. Then we need to be at war with Italy, and we need to have some divisions in either Lazio or Abruzzo. And then you get the bear. And that's cool and all, but the bear is actually not significantly better than Anastasia Romanov. There is not that much of a difference. In fact, you don't get the political power gain with the bear. You get a lot more war support, but it's more for the memes and for fun. Now, we're going to do it, but I want to be clear about the fact that the optimal path at this point would be to just capitulate Germany and Italy faster, so you can take the allies before the US joins. While if you'd waste some time in Iran, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it certainly gets harder to capitulate the Axis and then the UK before the allies. For the purpose of this guide, I think it's going to be more fun. So what we're going to do is we are going to capitulate Iran, we're going to capitulate Germany, taking all the way to Paris, so we can claim this stuff in the peace conference as well. Then Italy to get the bear, and then we're going to get ready for the allies with the US in it. But we're not going to do it today, we're going to do it in a future live stream. Let's make sure that we have our non-aggression pact here. Okay, that's all good. So next we need to get ready for Iran. We're going to use both of our offensive armies here. And make sure that we dispatch Iran as fast as possible. You don't need two armies. One army split into two would be absolutely enough. But in any case, we need two armies for the Axis. Other than that, we can use all puppet divisions and prepare them already where they will be soon, so at the border with Germany. We can train them in the meantime. Do we have enough spies? What do you think? Let's also see our claim in perfect, like just the time to get ready. Please use strings.
Strategist!
Also assign the new planes. Oh well, this stuff is gonna change very soon as we complete the Slavic unity, actually. There we go, boys. There we go. Proclaim Slavic unity, meaning we got course on the entire Soviet Union. Not only on the Soviet Union, actually also on Yugoslavia, if I can click it. Also on Yugoslavia and also on Bulgaria, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, now we have this problem.
Gotów!
We're now going to pick the armor expert. Actually, we don't need the armor expert. I should stop picking that. Let's change that, sorry. Okay, claim on Iran, and now this is perfectly timed with real life too. It seems to be a very popular choice. We're going to invade Iran. Now, don't underestimate Iran, like in real life, exactly like in real life. The biggest issue in Iran are supplies. We are attacking from an okay area, but you will see very soon that we don't have connection to their supply hub. So you need to build railways, and that needs to be a priority. So, first of all we push, but then... Yeah, as you can see, just after a couple of days you get some hubs that you need to connect. This one, and this one are all not connected. So now let's build the railways. And this one. And let's make sure they are the highest priority.
Gotów, dowódco! Gotów! Uwaga!
Okay, run should be down in no time. There we go, perfect. Another job well done. Now, about Iran, it should be fine. You just need this province, so you can annex this province and then puppet everything else. Some people say that even just puppeting everything is fine, but just in case I would annex it. So we annex this and then we puppet or balkanize the rest. Very happy, but no time to rest. It's time to focus on Germany. So we're going to send an army to push this part here. Then we're going to prepare the other army to push this part of Germany. The northern part is less defended. There you can get an encirclement. It's overall a good place to push and there are no forts. Now, since trade is becoming a mess, we're going to switch from export focus to limited export, so it's less micromanagement overall. No, we're not going to pick this yet, because we need to make some changes first. So, let's see, I forgot about the collab, but... actually okay. In fact, we can definitely use at least some of these spies to get some network in here as well. Now let's justify on Bulgaria. The reason why we do this is that if you don't have the claim, or better, especially if Japan has already guaranteed Germany, which might be the case at this point, Germany and Italy, you need the claim on Bulgaria. And it's a retake course, it's an easy one to get. Now we're going to make some additional changes to production. We're bringing trucks to 5. And then as soon as we get the planes, so actually we need to wait for a little bit longer, we're going to start massively producing trains. But the most important change is we're going to change our Vegeta template here by adding a couple of Mountaineers, a couple of SPGs. Yeah, actually one more. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, so we're going to change our Vegeta into this 30 width template with 2 Mountaineers and 4 SPGs. Then we're also going to change to the Assault Engineer Company. And this will be our final template for the run. Let's save it. Let's see if they need some training. They may need a little bit, but usually not much. Develop. Let's make Iran great again.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Uwaga!
Yeah, okay, we lost, unfortunately, the claim on Germany. It was just now. So we're going to use the one on Bulgaria, which is also more reliable because we were particularly fast with the Soviet Union. That's not always the case. Very useful.
Gotów do wymaszerowania! Gotów, dowódco! Gotów! Gotów, dowódco!
But here we go. We got our claim on Bulgaria. I think the divisions are pretty much ready. We may need some assault engineering vehicles, but it's fine. It's probably because I forgot to produce them right away. So we're going to start both offensives right away. I'm going to make a save. And we're going to attack Bulgaria. Bulgaria is in the axis. They should call right away. Italy, Germany sometimes doesn't join right away, but hopefully they will join quickly enough. If not, by the way, you can start the justification also on Vichy France. This will trigger Germany for sure. Let's see what happens. Germany is just getting in position, then they will join the war. Okay, there we go. So we don't need this claim now.
Kontynuować natarcie! Gotów, dowódco!
Yeah, we have very, very good divisions, so Germany is no problem. But there is something important to do in Germany, and that is you absolutely want to push all the way to the Netherlands and Belgium, and ideally all the way to Paris. First of all, that's going to give us a bit more war score that we need to share with the allies, but especially if you have Paris, you gain a lot of control. So let me explain this very briefly. By taking the Netherlands and Belgium, you gain access to this little island in the peace conference, Curaçao. And by puppeting Curaçao, we have a perfect access to the United States later on in the war. You can also puppet Suriname. If you take Paris, you can decide to puppet it, which will give you for free Vichy France entirely, or you can simply annex it, which will leave Vichy France where it is, it cannot be integrated to France, and then you can invade Vichy France right after the war and take their navy. Both solutions are very good. Maybe the annexing Paris and then taking Vichy France is the best solution overall. Now here we just want to make sure that we are not pushing into the Czechoslovakian forts, ideally. Should be able to get a nice encirclement up here. Oh yeah, that's a lot of divisions right there. Where are they pushing? Where do you think they're pushing? Option number 1, the coast line with the railway. Option number 2, supply hubs for encirclement. Option number 3, the Czechoslovakian forts. That's right, the Czechoslovakian forts.
Baczność! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Now you can use political power to integrate puppets. Very beneficial. Let's bring this to 10.
Gotów, dowódco! Baczność!
Okay, now we can use both armies to push Germany. We can even be brave enough and use a spearhead. That's a bit crazy though. Don't know about that. Okay, now finally with this research we can start producing planes. The usual F2. And C2 as soon as we get the air experience for it.
Uwaga!
Well, I will start producing the F2 first. It's quite a high priority, and we want 60 factories on them that we are going to take from the SPGs.
Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Oh, Italy hadn't joined yet. No, they had. They're here. mean, at this point, we are so powerful that we just completely shred Germany into pieces.
Tak jest!
Okay, now we can make the C2. And for C2, we're going to assign 30 factories to it, also taken from SPGs. Berlin is down. We're not even going for encirclements here, we're just going for absolute destruction.
Gotów!
And artillery modernization is the last focus we need for the bear. So now when we attack Italy, unless the game is bugged, we should get the bear. So from now on, focus, well, I don't need to say that, but from now on, focuses are free. Just usually go for air production.
Uwaga!
Look at the Italians, they are here.
Gotów, dowódco!
I'm very curious to see how my spearhead is going, though. Yeah, that's annoying. The non-aggression pact with Japan is very useful. If they don't give it to us, it's fine, but we cannot take this part of Vichy France without having issues with Japan. That's the main disadvantage, but that's okay.
Tak jest!
We will be pushed a bit there. But I think Germany has other priorities, other problems to worry about here.
Baczność!
So something very, very important is we don't want to cap Germany before getting to the provinces I mentioned here.
Tak jest!
Okay, in here they are going to be a little bit annoying, so I'm going to use one of these armies to take care of these very quickly. Otherwise these can become a problem.
Uwaga! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Look at Germany using their spearhead properly.
Gotów, dowódco!
That's very nice. The only problem in Germany is you might have forgotten
Szeregu, zbiórka!
that you also need to protect your spearhead.
Gotów, dowódco! Ruszamy się! Uwaga!
There you go. There you go, Germany.
Trzymać dystans!
Thank you for the encirclement. It was very nice.
Gotów! Tu!
that seems like a bugged spearhead. Yes, it is. But at least they pushed only here. I'm okay with you pushing almost everywhere. That's a lot of German divisions in there, by the way. But look at these, they actually killed 2 of my defense. That's unacceptable, Andrew, I'm so sorry. 2 of your divisions were murdered by Germany. Let's keep an eye on them. Don't cap Germany, be good boys. I need to get to Paris. Damn, this is going to be painful though. That's that's 56 divisions there. That's very painful, Germany. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Adolf is not going to be happy here. Let's also stop training these guys. By the way, funny enough, you know why the first part of the war is easier? Because they're actually spending a lot of divisions in here. And we don't care about Yugoslavia, we let them take it. And so the first stages of the war, they have less divisions. I guess the next stage of the war, they will also have less divisions, because they're all dying. Here we have some more forts to push. We love pushing forts. Oh man, Germany, this is going to be very painful. Very painful. Ouch. 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 Like, I mean, we got some casualties there, but damn. They got more. No, don't lose Bratislava. Oh my god. And we may lose Bratislava. It's okay. Can use now this army to push this part as we're getting closer to Paris here. Casualties are good, by the way. I'm happy we're taking casualties. Look at our war participation. It's coming from casualties as well, so very good. If you do too well against Germany, you will actually have less participation. Upgrade our flame tank, which doesn't upgrade automatically. The flame tank is so bugged. Are you surprised though? Like, not the only thing that is so bugged in this game. So technically now you should rush these victory points to capitulate Germany faster. But we are not in a hurry because we decided not to go for the allies first. And the more we stay in the war against Germany, the more we get war participation, which I'm happy to get. Also, if you wanted to go for the allies, you better research this faster. Okay, we got Paris, so that's going to be no problem. Now it's basically up to us how we manage this entirely. Come on, what the fuck can I do with these faction points? Sure, let's give them some manpower. That's not expensive. At my facility.
Szeregu, zbiórka! Gotów! Tak jest!
Germany should be struggling now. Yeah.
Szeregu, zbiórka!
Okay, Germany, I think I'm pretty satisfied with how you're doing, and damn allies, Italy, defend your land, come on. No, this can actually be a problem. This can actually be a big problem. So now we need to cap Germany faster, because we need to send divisions to Rome before the allies take too much of Italy. Otherwise, we are in trouble with the bear, the goddamn bear. So let's try to get Germany done. Because Italy has their divisions in at the fucking border with Romania instead of defending their land. Damn it, it's another masterclass, guys. It's another Mussolini masterclass. We were waiting for it, and it is there. Divisions at the border with neutral Romania and Naples taken. We need to go to Vienna. And Germany doesn't give up shit, look at that. Where is our collab? 30 days, now we're gonna cap them before the collab anyway. Please, Italy, please. Don't do this to me. Okay, Germany is gone. So, well, that bit of France we don't care about. It's a bit of a mess. Everything is a bit of a mess right now. So what we need is, first of all, let's, don't like to see those two divisions lost. This is helpful. Yeah, so now we need to cover this front. No, not that front, clearly. Yeah, it's all messed up. Yes, it's all messed up. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Well, now we need to push Italy. We need especially to rush Rome faster, and then to get the bear before we get the Civil War event. The most challenging part of the run, I would say. The one in which Italy needs not to fuck up. Okay, let's save. Let's save. No, Gertown. Okay. Let's save and pray.
Wycofujemy się! Gotów! Tak jest! Baczność!
Problem is with Italy losing the south, they already lost some of their victory points. That can be a problem. By the way, now we're going to switch to limited conscription, since clearly manpower is not an issue. And there's also these guys here that can be a bit problematic. These are in super high level forts, so we're never gonna push them. Oh, that place is not fortified. Italy, another masterclass. They had super high level forts, they moved to the place without forts. I don't know, I just love Italy. My country, boys. I present you my country. We need to rush Rome though. Yeah, okay. So... Fuck. The UK is advancing fast. This is getting scary. We need to advance into Italy, but somehow we need not to take victory points, because if we do, they will capitulate, and then we're fucked. We need to do this very carefully. They, of course, Italy is losing. They have no divisions. Because they are all here. Scary days, boys. Huh? Scary days for the bear. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the spies. Still making a collab in a non-existing... Well, I don't know what to do with spies. Forget about it. No. Okay. We need Abruzzo. Abruzzo is enough. Okay, let's rush Abruzzo. And stay on the coastline. Take no victory points. No, Italy. Counter the south. They're fucking invading you. Send divisions there. Come on. Do we have railway connections here? Yeah, we will get them. That's fine. It's actually better, so it's not gonna ask us. One more tile in theory should be enough. Italy, you're doing okay? What the fuck is this? Okay. Give me the bear. Don't need that shit. I need the bear. I'd love to cut off the Brits, so we don't have that problem anymore. But I also don't want Italy to capitulate too fast. Should be getting the event in within 1 week, in theory, if we do everything correctly. Okay, the Brits are out of this. That's nice. At least that's nice. Oh, there we go, boys. We did it. We did it. Italy scared me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. This was scary as fuck. But we got the event. So, first step, just accept it. And we get the epic bear. Let's give him an army. Let's give him he deserves an army. Or maybe not. I don't know, because he's not gonna stay there for long. But look at him. Epic bear. With the bear of artillery trait. Except we don't use any artillery here, but that's still fun. Now we can capitulate Italy. Now there is no reason for Italy to survive any longer. Mussolini took the timing perfectly. Yeah, this is useless anyway. Now by Italy. Hopefully the puppet will be mine, and it is mine. Okay, so it's perfect, boys. It's perfect. The UK will not keep this land. Now we just need to do the peace conference correctly, and we are done. Now one thing we may consider is justifying on Vichy France. I'd probably do that. It's interestingly guaranteed by Germany. So we can decide what to do with Vichy France. As I mentioned, if you puppet Paris, you take it for free. If you're next Paris, you can invade it, which has the advantage of giving you the navy. Japan actually already took Indochina, so we don't particularly care. We shouldn't have issues with Japan anyway. So I think we can invade Vichy France. Done. Done, and we finished with 53% of the score. I do not mind. Also, Bulgaria is not in it, so later we'll capitulate Bulgaria and take it for free. So priorities for the peace conference. We have some cores in here, but you can check them. Just remember that you can core Czechoslovakia. That's entirely a core. And then we have some... then we of course have cores here. And we have cores here, here not, here yes. So these are the cores that we can annex, other than Bulgaria, of course. Albania apparently is not Slavic. Italy, I would recommend ignoring entirely, because ideally the allies will just give it to you, give it back to the puppet, so you don't usually need to annex Italy. Then, as we said, then a priority is Paris. We're going to annex it so we can invade Vichy France, and then we're going to puppet this island here. Very, very important, and these places here also very important. So we'll have more supplies in the area, and we can invade the US from here. Absolute priority there. Now, the rest is pretty much free, but I would recommend keeping at least 1,500 points for the Navy. Yeah, that's about that amount. You can leave them at the end since the AI doesn't take the Navy. It's more important to claim stuff before that, but just keep those points for the Navy. It's a priority over taking land. In any case, you can attack the Allies and take them down. For the Allies, it's convenient to own this land directly, so we can annex these provinces here. And then maybe you can focus on puppeting something to create a barrier between us and the Allies. Yeah, we'll need more there, but... yeah, Albania will probably become independent. I'm happy with that. Okay, here they are going to be a bit annoying, so we're going to give up on some of this stuff here. Yeah, even Antwerpen, it's fine. Curaçao is the only one I really, really want. Oh, come on. Fucking UK. You kidding me? Oh boy, we're not going to be able to take Curaçao. That's very, very annoying. Nah, that's a restart of the peace conference. Fucking UK, unbelievable, this stupid peace conference system. I don't know about this fucking game, why they cannot fix one thing. That's why you make a save. I mean, we can go from here too, but I prefer to have Curaçao. They've been fighting me for Curaçao from the beginning. It's insane. Okay, now they don't have Curaçao. Luxembourg I can give up. Okay. Take it. Can even get some more reparations and resource rights. Not going to complain. They are taking Trentino? Really? That would be surprising. So we gave up on part of Germany. We fight for Luxembourg at this point. Nice, we won it. Fuck you. Okay, we can confirm, we can be very happy. It's a bit ugly. Definitely a bit ugly. There's no lying about that. But it's also cool. It's also cool. And as you can see, yeah, Italy you get for free. Now, Italy we want to annex. Italy we definitely want to annex, so we're going to build in Italy as much as possible right away. Absolute priority. It's going to be part of the next session of this guide, let's say. But while by taking France, we actually took a decent navy. It's just decent, and we're going to face both the UK and the US at the same time. And my idea would be to invade the UK and invade the US at the same time. So that can be a little bit tricky. So now, boys, this means that there is just one last thing that we need to do. We need to wait for a few days and then we'll get an epic event. And there it is, the fate of Anastasia Romanov. No political power spent. Someone else should bear the crown of Poland. Let's take a look at this. Goodbye and welcome to the epic bear. Wojtek, he who bears the throne. And so we did it, boys. We got the epic bear. Oh fuck, I forgot about Bulgaria. Now we're talking. Bulgaria, we can simply annex. It's all our core. Now we can do it. And so, boys, we did it. It is August 1941. We got the epic bear. The Soviet Union is our core. But not only that, Yugoslavia is our core, Bulgaria is our core, Czechoslovakia is our core. We did ugly, very ugly things to Germany and to France, but this means we have the perfect setup for the Allies. Now we're not going to be able to do it in time. The US will join, but we don't care because we control some strategic islands in here from which we can invade the United States. We're going to take down Vichy France to take their navy, and we're going to annex Italy to take their navy. And with that combined, nothing can stop us. Then of course, if we want to invade Japan, we can do it from Vladivostok. So guys, this is a run you must absolutely try. I mean, for the memes and for the bear, of course. But other than that, this secret path for Poland is just incredibly powerful, smooth, and overall a very fun experience. I recommend it to everyone. If you enjoyed this guide, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Let me know what you thought of it, if you have any suggestions for further improvements. And if you're looking forward, like me, to invading the Allies with the US involved, can we get dominance on the US and the Allies at the same time and trigger both invasions together? That's the plan. Or are we going to be forced to invade Japan first? We'll find out. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye bye.